But yo, man, hey, I'm back, man. Since I might be late on Monday, and it's Tuesday. You know, I miss Monday, so what? But we live, I'm about to shoot Gorilla Boys podcast. So if you haven't already subscribed to Gorilla Boys podcast, go to Gorilla Boys podcast and subscribe. Not for the weak stomach or the faint at heart, but because I'm shooting at the Gorilla Boy Studios, I had the producer of the Gorilla Boy Studios right there asking me questions and picking my brain because he looks up to me. so, so Cisco, so we were
Down
talking.
to you, actually.
Well, he was because he's taller, but he really looks up to me. He admires me. But but we but what were you saying, Cisco?
The, the Trump released 230,000 files having to do with the assassination of MLK.
230,000. So Trump released 230,000 files regarding Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, and was it his life too? Like just there's the surveillance they had on him,
About the investigation
the
that the
whole
FBI was
investigation.
doing. Yeah.
Damn. So that's funny. So that's funny for a few. It's not funny that he got assassinated. It's not a funny. It's not funny. It's not funny that they were had him under surveillance because that's also messed up. But so for people who don't know, of course, the U.S. has a romanticized Martin Luther King, and so like there's the Martin Luther King holiday, and people know about Dr. Martin Luther King. They know the figure that they publicize at schools and what they teach you about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Um, when you dig deep into Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., of course, he is what you learn. You know, graduated high school at 16 with the Morehouse, got his doctorate degree, all that great stuff. Great man. He just like to fuck hoes from time to time. But while he was saving the world, a lot of white women too, man. Shout out to Dr. Umar. But for people who don't know, Dr. Martin Luther King was a subject of the CIA. So the CIA had him under surveillance.
FBI.
FBI. I'm sorry, I always say CIA. FBI. What? So with these 230,000 pages that they had the surveillance. Like, what did they uncover in the surveillance? Like, that's new that people. Some stuff people don't really know already about them. That's kind of coming out if you just know a little bit about the stuff that we already knew about the FBI following them. But what did they uncover that was new?
Well, they uncover most of it is what they're saying is that it covers just how actually aggressive their surveillance was.
Damn, how aggressive was the surveillance?
They're saying, let me see, transcripts, wiretaps.
They had wiretaps. They had
They used
wiretaps.
him as a subversive figure
A subversive figure.
who engaged in efforts to, and they engaged, and they admit right in these files,
Yeah.
that they engaged in efforts to discredit, intimidate, and undermine his leadership.
Damn. So the FBI had him under surveillance. Video footage, uh, transcripts of his telephone conversations. For how long was he under surveillance?
They don't say, but they also mentioned here that one of the main reasons that they were following him was because this is a crazy sentence, because of his communist ties.
His
And this
communist
is
ties.
in the early '60s, late '50s, right? So here's the exact sentence.
COINTELPRO.
The FBI director at that time labeled King. He said the most dangerous Negro of the future in this nation.
The most dangerous Negro of the future. That sounds like
in this
a
nation, from the
Quint.
standpoint of communism, the Negro and national security.
Damn, the most dangerous Negro in the world.
That's what COINTELPRO is. If you look into anything COINTELPRO, that's exactly what it
It's
is.
the most dangerous Negro in the world. That's a great ass title for. If you ever look for me,
The most dangerous
I
Negro.
want y'all to say I'm the most dangerous
And
Negro.
that's what they say. It looks like that was one of their biggest concerns. Why the president at the time was investigating not just him, but the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, who apparently had ties with individuals with communist backgrounds.
But who are the people that they saying is like communists though?
This nigga said, that's
Well,
how
at that
Johnson
time,
and
you
Johnson
gotta
refers to Puff Daddy.
You've heard of McCarthyism, right?
What's McCarthyism?
McCarthyism during that time from like World War II in in politics, McCarthy was like a big figure in politics, and he
What's his first name?
I don't even know his first name.
McCarthyism. So while Cisco looks that up, the FBI had Martin Luther King listed as the most dangerous Negro and a threat to democracy because he had communist ties. So it's funny they don't put that into like the school books and when you learn about Martin Luther King, turn the other cheek. But man, Dr. King was a revolutionary out here fucking white women. That's what it really was.
And he,
That's what really happened
and he got clipped because he started cooking up with Malcolm X.
with Malcolm X. You know so,
Once it got cool, it was over.
because like the way that they teach you about Dr. King, they teach you like to turn the other cheek and march on Selma and just like nonviolence. But the reality is Martin Luther King wasn't a threat until he started to aim towards poor people and not just a race thing. So he started about poor, disenfranchised people, including black people, because most black people, especially at that time, were poor, disenfranchised people. But that wasn't the limit to what he was talking about. So so once the gay- the gays in the background like, man, he kind of smart, man. But the shit they don't tell you is when he started talking about you when he did that speech where he said I fear I've led my people into a burning building. That's when it got sticky. The same with Malcolm X too. Malcolm X was cool when he was in pocket. When he was in pocket with the nation and he was just talking about black people, black people, black people. Once Malcolm went to Mecca, and Martin Luther King went broke. Like, see, people don't know Dr. King died broke and destitute and trying to figure out some shit. And so while he was pushing that agenda, I hate to say agenda, but while he was pushing the agenda for equality, he was cool. He was actually funded by some of these organizations that ended up being a part taking him down. And some of the briefings show that 230,000 pages of surveillance is crazy. And so what was McCarthyism?
So McCarthyism was during like the 50s into the early 60s. They were, because of the USSR, right? The whole basis of the war with what was Russia, right? The USSR, which is now Russia
Yeah.
now. The government had a very like a fear almost or a paranoia that communism was infiltrating the United States because USSR was sending spies over here to the U.S. right, so from Cuba, right, and so McCarthy specifically, which was a
Senator
right,
McCarthy.
he kind of led the charge of sniffing out any communists in the political world, but because of the paranoia, that translated into Hollywood, politics, political figures, Hollywood, right? If they thought that you had ties to communism in any way, shape, or form during that time,
Right.
you got blacklisted. You
Okay.
lose everything. You lost everything. And so the president, the FBI, they were obsessed with it. So they thought that, one of the things apparently they thought that he had too many ties with people who have ties.
People who have ties with
Yes.
communism.
It also became one of those things where it was something that you could just throw on somebody.
Yeah, that's
Right, like witch hunt.
Yeah, exactly. So after a while, after a decade of doing it, McCarthy just started saying,
Yeah,
that guy's a communist. And then
Right.
boom, in the middle of the night, FBI just
'Cause it get-
takes everything. You
So-
know what I mean?
Okay, so let me ask y'all this. So now adding that level of McCarthyism and the communist part of it, would you, in your opinion, I ask you, Cisco, do you think that the FBI truly believed that he was communist, or they just didn't want?
No, they because they just used it as a way to, bring political or opposition down. Right? It was just a channel. I mean, I'm sure that there was, people who were communists here in the U.S. because there was a communist party back then.
What was it? What was it called?
Just the Communist Party.
The Communist Party.
There was several different factions, and it was huge even during the
that.
whole
Alright, go ahead.
even like during the creation of the atomic bomb, right? Like communism played a huge role into that, and that's another reason why, because it stems from the late 40s, the whole 50s. It stems from the whole war pretty much. It's just they were paranoid. So yes and no. Though I'm sure the Communist Party reached out to him and.
Yeah, and anything against the
Yeah, it's
establishment.
like, we'll give you money because I'm sure that they saw that his peace talks, I guess,
Right.
helped them, right? So maybe.
You see, I think the reality of the situation is more so. Yeah, they probably did, but he wasn't a threat as far as communism. It was just being able to get the public against him.
Right.
And in that era, if you call somebody a communist, it was like, it's a witch hunt.
Yeah, you can burn them at the stake.
Yeah, you burn them at the stake. And then now all their credibility is going, he's not American, he's not for this.
Right.
And now you have the majority of America where you're even going to turn black people and people of color.
Right.
It's actually helping against them because they're like, oh, I don't want to be against America. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Did you see Oppenheimer?
The movie?
I need to watch it.
That movie is it's a recount of that specifically, right? Because he had such a heavy hand in the creation of the bomb that ended the war
Right.
at that time, but he had so many connections.
He was a
to the
Nazi,
Communist
though.
Party.
Yeah.
Well, not
He wasn't a Nazi?
no, not him. No, he was American actually.
Okay.
But he had a lot of ties with the Communist Party, and they actually don't like the Nazis,
Yeah.
right? It was a weird trifecta, of political regimes.
Yeah.
During that time, but pretty much the full basis of the movie is that it's outlining the McCarthyism of that time and how people didn't trust him to build the bomb, but also because people thought he was a communist.
Thought he was a
And
communist.
it was feeding secrets to Russia, like they were
Gotcha.
like, we're building this bomb, and then I'm giving all the secrets of how to do it to Russia.
So that ties to even now. So even now with the whole Russia boogeyman thing. So like anytime there's an issue in America that affects America, they use like the Russian boogeyman, like, oh, Russia's interfering. And the great thing about like these debriefs, even though we'll get to people having a problem with these files being put out, because I have mixed feelings about it. But the great thing about when the government releases these files after 30, 40, 50 years, they release new things. Hey, we did some bullshit back in the day. We didn't tell y'all about it. Here's some of it. The great thing about that is it shows you how fucked up the government is. Like the things that they do under secrecy that they don't have to tell you, or they don't have to tell you for a period of time until all the offenders are dead. This is a good example of that, because I think black people who kind of seek kind of like knowledge and want to know more about what we're taught. We kind of know. We already knew about Martin Luther King was a heavy drinking, charismatic womanizer, for lack of a better term. He liked to fuck hoes.
Most people that are captivating are.
Right. With that's a part of. I mean, it works for me. Like being able to captivate an audience, or like to say you get hoes. That's kind of a byproduct of it. Men of power. Yeah, men of power. You drink and you get hoes, man. It is what it is. Like it just is what it is. Like if you have charisma, you're captivating. You're smart. I'm sure he was funny. I mean, we only know the public persona, but you don't think Martin had jokes?
Hey, look, you don't get that far without being.
Martin had
especially
jokes.
Black, you don't get that far without being funny.
Nah, he had jokes for sure.
Especially black.
Real shit. It's a thing. It's a thing in our community.
Yeah.
You gotta. you gotta be able to, what I guess they used to call it job talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
gotta be able to job talk and talk shit with motherfuckers, and people gotta laugh and be happy with
Yeah. And Martin from the South too, man. So like Martin definitely had jokes. So most black people like Paul, myself, like we know Martin had hoes, we know Martin drank. We know that the FBI knew these things because he was obviously under surveillance because they got 230,000 pages, and that's just the pages that they show us, and it's supposed to be all of it non-redacted, which they don't always they don't normally non-redact everything, but it's technically supposed to be non-redacted. But also, we all knew that the FBI knew, and we knew that they told his wife, "Hey, you know your husband be fucking these white bitches on the road," and her quote based on reports that she said, "Hey man, do what you got to do, but this movement bigger than me and my wife, me and my husband, or me and my marriage. So do what you got to do, but I ain't gonna leave him. I ain't finna make it no public thing. So what? He fuck hoes from time to time. So really, Dr. Martin Luther King was really like Jody he was Jody from Baby Boy, but he was just a preacher. That's my synopsis. But so with these 230,000 unredacted pages of him being surveillance videos, because also it was rumors that it's rumors that they had like Martin Luther King sex tapes. I ain't gonna lie, I would like to see a Martin Luther King sex tape.
The MLK OF.
What was it when Ray J and Kim Kardashian came out? Who did what was it? Who put it out?
It was Kim.
Mom.
No, talking about what's the company that bought it.
I don't remember. That was a while ago, bro.
Yo, in the comments, tell me if you guys would want to see a Dr. Martin Luther King sex tape.
I definitely watch it.
Like, let's be real. Like, I would like to see a Martin Luther King sex tape if we being honest.
You gotta see if he actually getting down.
Getting down, like, yo, imagine.
We saw George Floyd getting down.
In the 50s with
George Floyd definitely had a sex. You see the George Floyd sex tape?
I didn't see it.
You gotta go watch it.
Man.
George Floyd ain't MLK.
gotta
I don't need to watch George.
Kanye
Floyd.
said that George Floyd was MLK.
Kanye also.
That's not a good reference.
Yeah, I was saying, Kanye said a lot.
But what if I see this? What if I see this tape and Martin is busting them hoes down, man?
You know he was though.
He was killing
He
them.
was. If he was bad, I'm gonna be. That's what I don't want to see. He's gonna be racist.
I don't because they say Martin was drinking hard liquor. So
Hennessy.
you drinking Hennessy? You bet. I had some of our best nights on Hennessy.
Tearing them snow bunnies up, boy.
Tearing them Stowe buddies up.
Right,
Oh my God, I never. He was fucking Karen. Hey,
Yo, in that era.
Yeah.
You out here drinking Hennessy and popping white bitches.
Yeah.
On tape,
on tape.
nigga. You feel undefeated, like you're.
I might not get there with you.
But you're gonna come before I do.
He thinking this shit is a game?
I'm going to Publix, man.
They gonna cancel us for this, man. Listen,
Be all right.
but with that being said, so we piecing it together. So Martin was drinking Hennessy, busting down white women, saving the world at the same time. So I mean, so that's to be saluted. And the whole time all this shit was going on, the Fed was watching. So really, Dr. Martin Luther King was like 2 Chainz. The Feds was watching while he was drinking hard liquor and fucking white women.
Nigga posing for the picture.
Posing for the picture. You know what?
Bro, to really be on some real shit, the fact that this nigga was busting down white hoes in that era, going out here and
Everybody
like,
was
wait, hold on.
white hoes, man.
No, not everybody was.
Not everybody wasn't bold, bro.
Niggas was getting killed for that shit.
For real.
So
How good is it, huh? That you'll die for it, huh?
it's good.
It's like
But not.
it's like pork ribs, man.
Yeah, all right.
It is like pork ribs. It's supposed to be, it ain't good for your heart.
But damn, man,
damn,
I'm
so
gonna
good.
just
But
fuck.
no, he's busting down these white women. He's doing all this shit, and then no minority, and I say minority with quotes because you know, you're really technically not a fucking minority in this world.
Right.
But no minority in this country would have any of the rights they had without this nigga's power.
Without
This
Dr.
nigga's
King.
going out and getting beat down and sprayed with hoses and turn around fucking white bitches drinking Hennessy and did all of this shit for all of these people.
That's a fact. That's like the plight of Dr. King is this, and this is what I like, because people argue against King and they put Malcolm and Martin as opposed to each other, and that's not fair.
Really good shit.
But yeah, right. But what I like about them both is at the time they were doing what they were doing what their heart told them to do. And then when they knew better, they attempted to do better. And then white folk killed them, which is pretty much how it goes.
These motherfuckers are young too.
Young man, like Dr.
Swine ass.
Doc-
Damn it, I was about to say that.
They were though.
It was YN.
They were though. And I like that Spike Lee got a hold of the Malcolm X story, because he was able to tell that story in an honest way. He did some creative liberties, like he made up a person to push the story in prison, whatever. The thing, because people keep trying to do the Martin movie, but you can't do the Martin movie and give it real justice unless he's drinking Hennessy and fucking white women. You can't, because that's a part of the plight.
It's his family. They don't.
Yeah, so his family.
They were against this, by the way.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna get to. That's what I was gonna get to. A part of the controversy, because like I said, a lot of these things are kind of known things if you want to know, and if you don't want to know, then it didn't really cross your desk anyway. You just got the story about his family not wanting it out, but it's the reason why they didn't want it out, because which I don't know why they didn't want it out, because like I said, it is a known thing. We knew that he had extramarital affairs.
I think it'd be bad for him, man.
Yeah, right.
Niggas now is gonna fuck with you, like, yeah.
Right, because I mean, I just honestly, I don't believe in a great man who didn't have extramarital affairs. I'm gonna be honest.
Motherfucker, I agreed before.
It's because that means you had no indiscretions at all.
Right,
And and being too perfect means that you're hiding some shit.
right.
Like The Rock.
Shit, like Obama, like not like Obama. Now Obama like say, hey, everybody needs to.
He killed it.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's another
That's a big strike.
it's another conversation we'll get to some other time. But the controversy comes is the family didn't want these things released. And so people, the internet and the peanut gallery are like, oh, they didn't want to release? Why didn't he release it? And of course, there's theories from the peanut gallery. Oh, it's a conspiracy, and they're distracting you. But the reality is, when you're a public figure, when you're a public figure, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing that Coretta told them 70 years ago. This movement is bigger than my marriage and me and my husband. And so the reality is, a part of his story is the flaw in him as a man. It's what allowed him to be courageous enough to turn the other cheek. It's what allowed him to do a pivot from that initial message, once he knew more about how the system worked, to lean towards the poor and disenfranchised. All that is a part of the story. And unless you tell the whole story, it's hard to tell the story. And I think that's most important. Somebody said Cisco be hating.
That's true.
That's true. Cisco be hating. Cisco's my Mexican Republican friend, man. But
Don't say that.
no, he's not Republican. He's not Republican. I'm sorry. Don't look that up. But that's the controversy. The family didn't want these files to be released. But again, Martin Luther King is in the pantheon of important people in this country. He's literally on that level of forefathers. He literally has a day. I mean, the government killed him, so they kind of had to, but that's another conversation. So I think it's important that these files are released. I think it shows the man, it shows the human, and it's just a part of the story. Like since him and Dr. King and Malcolm X are forever linked. It's important that if they do want to do like a real, of course there've been Dr. Martin Luther King movies, none of them have really hit, because they wanted to like do like a cookie cutter maneuver around it. But if you look at when Spike did Malcolm X, he showed was it Detroit? He showed Detroit Red, and then he also showed Malcolm X, and L had Malik. You know what I mean? And he showed the duality, because the duality of the man is important, especially when you are a great man. And so the conversation leans towards, hey, if the family doesn't want it out, it shouldn't be out. Bullshit. He lent his life to a greater cause, and sometimes that means that it transcends even the people that he's tied to. People saying, "Hey, well, they the Epstein list, and they're trying to distract you, and they didn't put out the Epstein list." So that's an argument. That's something we laugh at. The Epstein list would do more harm than good, I think. Which is I guess which is probably their thought process or reasoning if the Epstein list came out. Dr. Martin Luther King, if aside from some moral argument that you're having that's kind of disingenuous, he just fucked women on the road. Who didn't? You know what I mean? And he drank a little bit after he did a speech. I don't know. The amount of people who, first of all, most people, especially in America, are not good at public speaking. Me as somebody who's done public speaking in front of hundreds of people, sometimes about 1,000 or 2,000 people. No, not 2,000, 1,000 in that range. Public speaking is hard, even if you just public speaking in front of 4 or 5 people. And so sometimes you may want to take the edge off, and not to mention if the weight of a movement is on your shoulders that's as important and as big as the civil rights movement. I don't give a fuck if he drunk some Hennessy and fucked a couple Karens. I rather like the fact that he fucked a couple Karens, and I don't even date white women. So I think that's important. I think that's the nature of the beast, and I think, granted, his family is it's all fair for his family to feel like they don't want this release, they don't want to tarnish his name, they don't want to tarnish his legacy. But I'll say, for the most part, nothing new in these releases like shocking and, oh, we didn't know that happened. It just confirms some things that we've already kind of knew, especially people who want to know. And with that being said, I think it's important that people um, see the man in totality. It doesn't take anything from him at all. Side note that has nothing to do with this, but kind of has something to do with this. When I was in 5th grade, I played Martin Luther King in the school play, and that was the start of my acting career. I also was on the morning announcements. I was a news anchor on the morning announcements. So it's full circle. So it's full circle. It's terrestrial radio and acting, and it was partly because of Dr. Martin Luther King. Man, I never fucked a white woman, but the night is young. The night is young. But tell me what you think in the comments. Beat it up in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I might be late on Monday. Today is Tuesday, but mind your business. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the Gorilla Boys podcast, like and subscribe. And any other stuff, if you're on this page, scroll down this page, and other channels that I'm linked to is on this same channel. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Cisco, the producer, for chiming and helping. I don't know. Let me know if you guys want me to do this more here when I'm with Cisco, because it makes it a more livelier. Because honestly, I've been struggling with trying to do good more with just looking at a camera, having a conversation with just myself. It's a really tough thing to do, even if you talk for a living or you've done a million podcasts like I have. It's a lot easier when you have somebody who's smarter than you and has a computer in front of their face and is willing to chime in, and even my militant light-skinned brother who just went to Publix. But with that being said, I gave you 30 minutes of my time. Give me a few seconds of yours to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share. In the comments, tell me what you think, man. Hey, and if you got the hankering for white women, don't let nobody discourage you. And Hennessy's still good. I'm about to have some whiskey and pot with my family. Y'all have a good night.